Imagine waking up one morning feeling unusually tired, not just a bit worn out, but the kind of exhaustion that seeps into your bones. You shrug it off as stress, maybe too much coffee, maybe just a busy week. That night, you lie down as usual, but sleep doesn't come like it used to. Hours pass, and every attempt at rest feels like staring at the ceiling, waiting for something that never arrives. Days go by, and the nights only get harder. That deep, restorative sleep you once took for granted, it drifts further out of reach. At first you feel frustrated, but soon, a strange panic settles in. You start watching the clock, not because you want to wake up early, but because each minute without sleep feels unbearable. At first it's subtle, mild insomnia. You wake up frequently, jittery, heart pounding for no reason. You start sweating at odd times. Your hands tremble just a little more than they should when you reach for your coffee. Little things, a misplaced word here, a blank moment there, start to invade your days. Then your nights become restless beyond imagination. You begin to notice movements you can't explain. Your limbs twitching, jerking. Sounds that seem to come from nowhere escaping your throat. It feels like your body is awake, trapped in its own machinery. You try medications, different sleep aids, but nothing works. Even when you're completely exhausted, mentally, physically, your brain refuses to slip into rest. You start to worry irrationally. The silence of the night mocks you. And then the changes become unmistakable. Your short-term memory begins to falter. You forget appointments, conversations you just had. Your partner asks the same question twice, and you can't recall the first answer you gave. People around you start noticing. You're more irritable. You're disoriented more often than not. Nights stretch into days. You hardly remember what it feels like to truly rest. You keep a clock by your bed, and sometimes you stare at it for hours, watching the minute hand creep when your own mind feels frozen in place. At some point, you stop trying to sleep. Your heart seems to beat louder now, sometimes racing, sometimes slow and unsettlingly irregular. You feel dizzy from time to time. Cognitive lapses become more frequent, and your movements feel clumsy or uncertain. It becomes clear that this is no ordinary sleeplessness. Something deeper is happening, something that is not going away. And what you're living through isn't just a bad run of insomnia, but a relentless, progressive decline that will change everything you know about rest, memory, and the fragile boundary between wakefulness and sleep itself. Fatal familial insomnia is not a psychiatric illness, and it is not caused by stress or lifestyle. It is a genetic neurodegenerative disease, meaning it begins in a person's DNA and slowly destroys specific parts of the brain. At the core of the disease is a gene called PRNP, which provides instructions for making a protein known as the prion protein. Under normal circumstances, this protein exists harmlessly throughout the nervous system and plays a role in cell signaling and brain function. In fatal familial insomnia, a single mutation in this gene causes the prion protein to fold incorrectly. Proteins are three-dimensional structures. Their shape determines how they behave. When a prion protein folds the wrong way, it becomes dangerous. Not because it attacks cells directly, but because it can force other normal prion proteins to misfold as well. This creates a chain reaction of protein corruption that spreads through the brain over time. These abnormal prion proteins are unusually resistant to being broken down or cleared away. As they accumulate, they disrupt communication between neurons, damage synapses, and ultimately lead to progressive neuronal death. What makes fatal familial insomnia unique is where this damage concentrates. Instead of affecting the brain evenly, The disease selectively targets the thalamus, a deep structure that acts as a central relay station. The thalamus plays a critical role in regulating sleep and wakefulness, controlling consciousness and alertness, coordinating autonomic functions such as heart rate, blood pressure, and body temperature. As prion proteins build up in the thalamus, neurons in key thalamic nuclei begin to die. Over time, this leads to severe thalamic atrophy, meaning the tissue physically shrinks as cells are lost. This destruction explains the defining feature of the disease, the progressive and irreversible loss of sleep. The brain is no longer able to generate normal sleep architecture, including deep sleep and restorative sleep phases. Importantly, this is not insomnia due to anxiety or hyperarousal. It is the result of the brain's sleep-regulating machinery being structurally destroyed. As neuronal loss continues, the damage spreads beyond sleep regulation. The autonomic nervous system becomes unstable, leading to abnormalities in heart rate, blood pressure, sweating, and temperature control. Cognitive functions deteriorate as connections between the thalamus and cerebral cortex break down, resulting in memory loss, confusion, and eventually dementia. As the disease progresses, widespread neurological failure becomes unavoidable. The ongoing accumulation of misfolded prion proteins continues unchecked. There is no mechanism to reverse the protein damage, and no current treatment can halt or slow the process. Death ultimately occurs due to global brain dysfunction, often compounded by autonomic failure, infections, or metabolic collapse, not simply from lack of sleep, but from the brain's inability to sustain vital functions.